And welcome back to the Grind Time podcast. Today here I got a fellow athlete, friend, a homie, trying to learn it all right now behind the camera and stuff like that, even though I don't know any of this stuff, but people keep thinking I do. Boy Javon, what up with you, dog?
What's up, man? Living the dream. How you doing?
I'm good, dog. Just open up. We here.
Okay.
We're just having fun with it, man. So it's like I'm down to bring everybody on and stuff like that, and slowly and surely we're bringing in everybody that's a part of the crew and stuff like that. So you one of the second one, like definitely athlete wise, that'll be on here. So
Okay.
You're welcome.
It's
So
an honor.
I'll run right into like how we met. You randomly hit me up about getting in a shoot, and
Yeah, I remember seeing you tagged in Olympus's post, and I just followed you, or I followed you, hit you up, and was like, let's do a shoot or some pictures like that. And I was in prep at the time, so you were down, and just ever since then.
it was priceless because it was like not too long ago I had got the camera and I'd done I think like Heather's shoot or something like that, or was just about to get into doing a couple shoots, and I'm like, this is perfect timing actually for me. And I was like, I need to learn more with this camera, and I was just like, you're prep, here we go. I'm gonna meet somebody new and everything else. I see he's young, hungry, and out here really trying to do it. So I was like, yeah, let's run this. And I didn't know what I was doing.
Definitely helped me out, made things easier for me getting content out, because it's hard whenever you're in prep and you got to focus and you got a full-time job and shit like that. So I definitely appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, because I was just like, all right, I got this content side. I need to post more and everything else. This gets y'all content. I get back in the gym and behind the camera and actually just being creative, and I actually enjoy that part of it and everything else. Every now and then I have my spurs where I want to edit, but not really like at all. I don't know how's that starting since you've been out here shooting and everything else,
I like it. I like to make movies. Like, I don't want to just make it look like you're in the gym. I want to make it look like you're in a cinematic masterpiece, and it's literally just the place that you go every fucking day. That's what I want to do.
I felt that. I really enjoy that. That is a lot of fun for me too.
It's
like
time consuming.
It takes more time, and that's what I wanted to do more of, like the long form content. It's like, all right, this is going to be like 20, 30 minutes of doing this and everything else. And per se, like I really enjoyed it. And it's like Ruck, I got to do that somewhat with Ruck and everything else, but I wish I had more time beforehand knowing I was going to do that. Because I'm like, all right, let's make a whole dope thing. I want to go over what this, and this, and we want to get these parts and this part in it and make it into like a little short movie. And it's going to be 20, 30 minutes, whereas most people want these 15 seconds to a minute long video, and it's just like cut, and it's boom, it's over with. So I really enjoy the movie parts. I want to do more of those. Even if it's not me actually recording it, I want to step behind the scenes and be just like, hey, y'all shoot all this, and I need all this content to make something, because at some point I want to do like that for a drop. That'll be a lot of fun.
And more director role.
Because I enjoyed that, because I did that at one point when we were shooting some commercial stuff for Ruck and everything else, and everybody looked at me, he's like, what, man, how you know all this? And I'm like, well, do this, and this, you shoot that, you shoot this, and everything else. And I was like, that moment I was just like, I'd rather be in this role than actually behind the camera. I'd rather give that to somebody that actually enjoys that part, understands the camera, knows these things and everything else about it.
Okay, that's cool.
So we got some ideas for the future,
Okay.
but we're going to bring it back, and I want to get back into your backstory, where you came up from, schooling wise, growing up and everything else, the sports. I did see a couple of them highlights of you playing football out there, dog.
Yeah. Okay, so I grew up a very obese kid, but I found out quickly that I was just a little bit more athletic than the average individual. So I got introduced to the gym from I was in the Big Brother Big Sister program. My big brother Phil, he introduced me to the gym my 6th grade year, because I was getting ready to try out for the middle school team. We started working out. I'm 12 years old at the time, and I go to Olympus. I go to Olympus at 12 years old and see all these big ass motherfuckers. I'm scared as hell, but
that is not the
I'm
first
scared.
gym for you.
I'm scared, but like I'm looking at them and I'm admiring, and I'm like, I want that. I don't know how I'm gonna get it, but I want to look like that in some way. I just felt like they were superheroes, and I kind of wanted to make that for myself. So Fast forward, I make the middle school team, end up getting a scholarship to Innsworth High School out of 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I go there. It's a completely life-altering. Like, I come from Christiana, where you're in Christiana, to going to Innsworth, where I'm in surrounded by lifestyles and money that I only saw in movies. Like, it was a complete switch. I felt like an alien when I was there. Because
full on shell shock.
Yeah, like shell shock for sure. This is when kind of a point of isolation and depression came into my life. But no one on the outside saw that because I was this big successful football player who had things on a roll, and everyone liked me because I came from somewhere different. So they are interested in me because I was black and everyone there was white.
Basically. You're the outsider. And
yeah. So I was cool with everyone, but no one knew me. I was just a football player that could do this and that. So I ended up falling into the wrong crowd, start chasing the highs of life, and I just really got off track. Junior year came along. I was around 300 pounds. Okay, let me backtrack. I got to Innsworth from Christiana just eating shitty public school foods. I go to Innsworth. It's a full-on buffet every day. So my fat ass gained 80 pounds my freshman year. So
understandable.
Yeah.
What school?
Buffet, homemade, man.
Y'all was living low. I did not have that. Central was not.
It's way different than that little sausage breakfast pizza at public school.
Yeah, no, we had the Michelle playing. They was cutting all the drinks out, everything else.
They took our lemonade away.
Oh my. Yeah, continue, because I'm just thinking about the struggle again.
So I'm a junior. I'm 300 pounds at the time. It's the end of my junior year. I get really sick and I just completely lose my appetite. Next thing comes along, COVID hits and quarantine comes along. I end up getting COVID, but I didn't know it was COVID at the time. My appetite goes away for months. And I'm finna be a senior. I have no offers and my grades are shit. So I end up transferring, going to Riverdale. And that entire summer, I basically developed an eating disorder because I was 300 pounds and I lost all my appetite. So I started to see muscle definition for the first time in my life. So I just starved myself. But that made me extremely weak whenever I got to my senior year. But I had the frame and the size and the look that appealed to coaches. So my senior year, I ended up doing, I said, I was okay. Actually, I was good. I was the MVP of the region. I'm not trying to, but yeah, I was the MVP of the region. I ended up getting 10 offers and a whole bunch of looks from D1s, but no school wanted to throw me a full scholarship. So I betted on myself, wanted to go the JUCO route because I felt that I was a true D1 athlete. So I go JUCO out of high school. I'm in Mississippi in the boonies. I go there for 3 semesters, get my associates, end up getting this scholarship to a university. That 2 years ago was what I was dreaming for. But whenever I got there, whenever I was getting recruited there, they gave me all these promises that
false hope.
Yeah, that weren't going to get there until I graduated. Like new stadiums, new turf, new uniforms and all this other shit. And that shit wasn't going to be there until I graduated. So they already rubbing me wrong like that. And I pick a major of business because I want to learn what it's like to own a business. And all they're teaching me is how to be an accountant and run someone else's business more smoothly. So I was like, I'm not trying to be an employee. I'm trying to be an owner. So I switched my major to health, exercise science because that's what I'm passionate about. And I get to this major and all I'm learning about is how to train and how to eat, which I already know at the time. And because I'm a college football player and we learn that stuff.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
Especially at that level.
So I remember I was in class and we were learning about what it takes to be a coach, personal trainer, etc. right after you graduate, and they said something about your yearly income is going to be around $40,000. I got tunnel vision as soon as I heard that number, and I tried to find every way I can make money to basically make it make sense to my mom on why I'm dropping out. Because my love for football left whenever it stopped feeling like a game and it started feeling like a business, because that's what happens in
I've heard that a
college
lot.
for a lot of people. So
I've
it just
heard
started
that a
feeling like a business, and then school started feeling like they're just trying to turn me into a robot, and all I'm doing is just passing tests using Quizlet and shit like that. So
Boy, you right there, like everything you were saying, as soon as it like wrapping back to business, that was me. Taking all the business classes. I got a whole degree in business administration and stuff, and I'm just like, I completed this only for my mother's sake and everything else.
Exactly.
But a large majority of it is just like, oh, there's like, you need to buy billboards and do this. And I'm like, it's, you know, it's like 2020 out here, 2018 at the time or stuff. I'm like, nobody's buying billboards really besides for tax write-offs. That's the only reason why I would get a billboard is a tax write-off. I'm like, if I really want to get in front of people's faces, I would use social media and market it on there and do promotions that way. It's like more people are on these now than paying attention to a billboard. I'm like, yeah, they're nice and everything else, but that's so old and everything. Like most
as a
people,
billboard, you mean like on the side of the road? Like, okay.
yeah, like I'd rather do an ad on Instagram. It's going to be a lot cheaper and more effective because then I can actually target it into people who's actually in the gym. And I'm like, why am I not getting taught this and more about these side of things and everything else while in college? And I'm just like, yeah, no, bro. I'm like, I'm here. I'm not really learning anything. I'm like, they are trying to make us a robot and everything else to work for other people. That's how I felt about it. I'm just like, I'm just here. I'm going to get this degree, bounce up out of here and do more of my own thing. I'm like, I've learned more working with other small businesses and friends and stuff like that. I learned more about washing cars and about business while doing that. I've learned more while working in a little vape shop in town back in Chevyville. I learned more about actual business side of things and everything else. They just taught me fancy words at the end of the day. That's how I felt more about the college route of things. Yeah. So I feel exactly what you're putting down and stuff. And that's how I feel now. I'm trying to get back and learn my little CPTs and get my personal trainer stuff and everything else. I'm like, hopefully now I actually get some actual gyms and stuff like that that I can actually use. But I've learned a lot just being in the gym.
Yeah, you're just going to learn all your lessons from experience and failing, not from someone who's never done it before telling you to read a book.
It's like, you don't run a business.
Yeah, exactly.
You're here teaching me about a business, but you don't have said business or any type of business or never even started your own business. How are you going to tell me about what it's going to be like? I mean, I'd rather have somebody who's like, hey, yeah, I got these businesses ran. Here's my class per se, and do something that way than just sitting in a classroom with somebody just, yeah, I read this book and now I'm going to teach you about what's in this book per se. But you can continue on right there,
Okay,
you know, in the
so
sports science, and you were in class and they were talking about that of how much money. So you got tunnel vision and trying to talk to your mom.
I got tunnel vision and had to find a way to basically get back home. I'm at Arkansas Tech University in Russellville, Arkansas, which is a semi-racist town in the middle of nowhere. And I was just trying to get back home. I had to, out of high school, I worked security. So I hit up the guy that I used to work for, told him I'm finna come back home. How much money can I get, et cetera, from working with you full time? I hit up, I know a bodybuilding coach that I knew growing up with because I was friends with his son. I hit him up and said, can I do this? Like, can we work together if I make this decision? And he believed in me. He was full go, and I dropped out, committed fully to bodybuilding, and I have never regretted it since.
That's what's up. That is what's up, bro. I'm proud of you. I've only known you for a little bit of time, but I've seen the work you put in. I've definitely seen you come out of your shell a lot more this last couple of years and stuff like that as well, I can say. Because it's like from the first shoot and everything else to like now, it's just like, oh, yeah, it's a whole different person.
Yeah, it's a lot of rebranding. Like, I feel like whenever I first got back home, I was giving off aggression. And that's not really one I want to give off. I want to give off the feeling of I know what I'm doing and I'm serious, but I'm not just going to be mean to you. I'm just very straightforward. I have a goal, and I don't like to be distracted.
Okay, yeah, you just got to find your balance. That's literally what it takes. It's like me, especially when it comes to working out. I'm like, me actually working out and me here being for a shoot and other things is going to be two completely different people.
Yeah.
And it's like, some people can see that and everything else. And I'm like, look, if you see my eyes roll in the back of my head, just leave me alone until they roll back or I start shaking my head. And I'm like, I'll sit down and I'm fine. But in between those stages, do not mess with me because that's me going back to some dark places and everything else to just channel in like, all right, and I'm about to lift this weight and nobody can stop me. Nothing can stop me right here. This is my moment. Like I'm in a whole zone by myself. Let me be. And then once I'm done, I'm good type thing. Like, but yeah, I've definitely seen you locked in while we was doing all those, like when it was getting close to showtime and everything else. It's like, I'm gonna let him be. I'm gonna do my part, get those recordings, just hit me with what you need and what it is.
Yeah, and even today, I look at the gym, Olympus, wherever I'm working at, as my office, as my business. So I go there, and I'm not there to play. Like, I have a goal, and I'm going to get that goal, regardless of what's surrounding my life. And I have to walk accordingly for that goal.
Most definitely. So yeah, we can hop back into like that first time and everything else going into the first show. Like, how was that like, you know, from your perspective? And like from mine on the outside looking in, it was like you were one of the third or fourth people I work with around that time. So I know how the brain fog and everything else, but like how'd you feel going into it and everything?
I went into it ready to do whatever it took to get the goal. But it was definitely the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But I learned so many lessons, became such a better person on the other end. And I just love the process and the journey and watching my body change week to week. Like, this is what I used to dream about whenever I was that 12-year-old going into Olympus. Like, seeing those images, seeing those check-in pictures and stuff like that, that's what made me love it.
Most definitely. That was that's a good too, because it's like, you know, I seeing it too and everything else, and it's like it's wild how some small little things can change so much of your body and everything else. Like watching that with you, G, several other people, and it's just like, wow, the small little change and everything else. And then we got you up there on the stage. You up there did your thing and everything else, and also getting into it a little bit with some people. Oh, it really showed. The nature showed.
Get the football out of me.
It definitely came out. I could definitely tell he was a former football player, and I'm just like, hey, bro, just let him be. You here for the judges and not him, and everything else. But also, so after that, I was like, all right, so you hit me up. He's like, hey, let's shoot again in the off season. And he was like, I need a different shirt size and stuff like that, bro. I was like, how did one person go from being so tiny to this? Like, what was that like after the first, you know? Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I mean, like, shit. I'm not proud of this.
No, but we up and down.
Yeah,
here we
up
go.
And down, you got to be honest about how it is post show. Post show is not easy.
That's definitely
For the past 3 shows, I've rebounded a minimum of 35 pounds within the first month past show, and it just comes from the cravings that build up over the 6 months of prep, where you can't have anything, where you're completely dialed in. And as soon as I get the green light, I go full tilt. Like, I'm full tilt with everything in my life. Like, if I'm on diet, I'm on diet. If I'm off diet, I'm off.
I see. 'Cause, yeah, I was just like, bro, what happened? I'm like, even me, I'm like, I fell off, but it took me a while to get back up some size. But this man, yeah, he all or nothing. I'm like, I felt it, because I'm like, I'm about that too. It's like, I'm either all or nothing with these things. It's like, if I lock in, I'm locked in, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I really enjoy that. And it's just like, everything is starting to lock back in. Like, we've been doing good the start of this year and everything else. But I'm just like, yeah, it's fully time to lock in, really get out here, do more stuff, and like this is one of the steps right here, just getting out and about and getting everybody out here to tell their story and what's going on in the life of just the people that's around me, and it's helped me through all this. Like I've enjoyed it. It's just been a lot of a learning curve and everything else, and just really getting out here. So this is definitely dope, having people on and getting to sit down and hear their story from their side of things, And
it's dope seeing you expand. Like whenever I first hit you up, like it's completely different. The website's completely different. The brand's completely different. You got more networking. You're working with Ruck now, etc. Like things are expanding on both ends, me and you.
Thank you. Yeah, because that's the only way to be. I've always been that way. It's just it comes in flows and stuff like that, and you see, everybody will see. It's like I'm not about to be out here just trying to go balls to the wall with it, because I know how bad of a crash out I've had. It just where I did not want to do any of this or see any of this, and that's why I'm like, we're gonna be chill over here, and everything else is like we'll find all our grooves and what people are good at and stuff like that. That's what I'm just slowly trying to see. It's like most everybody that's a part of the business and in the group and stuff is here for a reason. And it's like once everybody starts hanging out more, they'll see. And I'm like, once I can get to a certain point, I can be able to like, oh yeah, hey, here you go. Y'all two go do with this one right here. Y'all do this over here and stuff like that. And it's just like, we got people in here doing massages. We got people training. We got every kind of little thing, nutrition side of things, people here and stuff. And it's like, once I can finally like sit down and get everybody together, it'll be a lot of fun. At some point, I actually want to get everybody together and just all of us go out, hang out, and have a little day and stuff like that. But man, so is there anything, before I get to my main question, like, so what has been your biggest thing that you really enjoyed about this now, getting the exposure, getting out here more and going to some of like the Music City Expo and seeing all these people and stuff like that now?
You asked like two different questions.
Yeah,
my favorite thing about the Music City Expo is definitely meeting Jay Cutler and just seeing all the people that you only see on social media, and you see them in person. You're like, oh shit, like that's him. Like where, like he's walking right there.
It's a whole environment. Like I was trying to tell y'all, I'm like, I can't really explain it until you go to them.
Yeah,
and it's like,
and you look at them on a screen and you idolize them, but then whenever you see them in person, you're like, oh, it's just a man. Just
it's a whole other person.
Man.
And it's like that's kind of what I want to get everybody out there, because it's like, one, if you already like the gym, going to these events and stuff like the big ones will have you fall more in love with it and everything else, because then you see more people besides the same old faces you see. You get to see so many more people in the actual sphere of everything else, and it's like, wait a minute, this is for real and stuff like that. Because me even hanging out with Ruck, like meeting the people I met that he just normally hangs out with and stuff when it's at these events, I'm just like, wait a minute, let me take all this in, because I'm still taking some of it in still to this day from the Arnold. Just like, we were really just walking around with these people and just hanging out and sliding through. Like even Jay, like that was like my 4th or 5th time meeting him at that event and everything else before he even got to his booth and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I remember you. I'm like,
right?
you remember me? Me, really? So it's like, it's a whole experience, and it's just like, man, I'm trying to get more people out there and stuff like that, because it's like, from your side of it, was like one of your first big events like that?
That was the first fitness anything I ever went to besides my own bodybuilding show. So yeah, that was huge for me.
That's dope.
Very eye-opening.
Most definitely, and I really enjoy it. I didn't get to walk around this year as much as we did last year. Like when me and G first won, I'm like, I didn't spend any time in my booth the first year, but we somehow still broke even. Okay. I don't know how, but me and G were at everybody else's booth just having a good time, and we didn't get to walk around this much this year, but I enjoy it, just going around seeing all the different businesses and everything else to network, one, for ourselves, and two, is just like meet people, because you don't know where you'll see these people again at, or hey, I'm thinking of this, and it's like, oh, I did meet somebody at that event, and that's how I've worked on a lot of things, because I saw some dude that I saw at the Arnold at that event. I'm just like, oh yeah, hey man, we was talking about this, and I was like, I thought about this, but after it was too late, and I'm like, I lost your card, linked back up with him, because I got some ideas from stuff, even though I don't use wraps and straps and stuff. I thought about, getting some of those made and stuff, and then seeing him there, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, let's run it. Here's another card. Whoop-de-whoop. So I need to contact him about that stuff. But
so you got some grind season straps coming?
Possibly. We'll see. We'll see. I got a lot of ideas. I mean, I want to bring stringers and a whole bunch of other things, but it's a slow process of like, I need to actually get out here more first before I can literally bring it on, when it's like most of the people that buy stuff is reoccurring. And that's one of the best ways to be in business is like, you're actually building a nice relationship with people, and that's been a nice benefit and truly a blessing and stuff. But I'm literally trying to get out here, get new people in and grow from there. And then I want to get ideas from y'all. Like, cause I mean, everybody has their own different styles and everything else. And it's like, let me bring some of that into the business and everything. So we will see where it goes from there, and just bringing in some stuff here and there. It'll be some one-offs and stuff. That's what I'm going to do a lot of this year, just some little one-offs, and maybe be like 30, 40 shirts. But you get one, you get one. If it comes back, it might come back in a year or two. That'll be the only way. So, yeah, that is one of the big ideas. There's big ideas. So it's definitely, so if you got any ideas and stuff like that, I always shoot them my way. It's like, I have a long list of stuff already, but some things can skip some lines depending on what it is type thing. But yeah, so we got the first show and everything else. We locked back in, went from there. Like Nick, got to work out in with Nick too, your actual coach and stuff. And I just had to show him that I'm not just a cameraman. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. That was a fun workout too.
Yeah, I was like, man, don't test me right now, man. And here we go, and it's like, seeing y'all's relationship is priceless too, because then Nick he still thinks he's young, and I'm like, I'll be reminding him like, hey bro, you chill, you're gonna regret this tomorrow. So it's like, you could speak a little bit on that and everything else.
Yeah, we went through that yesterday. He tweaked his shoulder and then tried to do some chest flies right after, and I'm like, Nick, what are you doing? And then he's I'm like, I told you. Like, you 50, you got to rest.
Just chill out a little bit. Hey, we can always have fun, but there's got to be some limits and stuff like that. But I will say, I've enjoyed all the working with you and everything we've done so far, and it's just like, who knows what's next and what big things to come. I'm just really, really, truly here, just going with the roller coaster. I mean, me now is like, I'm full on betting on myself, what you said earlier type thing. It's like no job, no nothing. It's like we out here doing podcasts and going to do pop-ups, really trying to get out here and train and do other things now. And it's like, I've seen so many y'all take all these risks and just being disciplined with it. It's like, it's my turn to give back, because it's like, I can do more than just shoot a couple videos and get y'all a couple little merch drops and stuff like that. So
just trying to scale out.
So, like, what is your future right now? Like, I see you, starting your training and stuff too, and everything else. So, like, what you got going?
Okay. My number one goal right now is to become an IFBB pro. But I do have a passion for training, and I am just now getting into that. And me and Nick are working together, and we're trying to build a team of like-minded individuals that want to work. Like, we're accepting lifestyle clients, competitive clients, athletes, etc. We're just trying to make a team of people that want to get better, man. And I love it. I love seeing the things that I see on myself, the check-ins and stuff like that. I love seeing results of other people and seeing them feel happy in their own skin, because I didn't used to feel happy about myself, and I just want to get that joy and that confidence to other people. It makes me feel good.
I respect that. Most definitely, because I get it too, and it's like, it just has that more of like a feel to you and better feeling, I would say, when you see other people. It's like, yeah, I know it works for me and everything else, like this stuff works. I'm like, just believe in me, and them actually trusting it. It hits different. I would say it really does hit different. And I do want to wrap back, and you talked about feeling good in your own body and stuff, and it's just like, when did you overcome that? Was it just the working out and getting into it and everything else? Like, how was that aspect of it? Like,
it's still a battle every day. I still feel small. Like, people don't say you're huge or you're big or whatever, but I still have insecurities, and I still have to reassure myself every day in the gym. Like, if I don't show up in the gym, I'm going to feel a little some way. That's why I have to establish that confidence by making routines.
We all deal with the body dysmorphia.
That's the way that I feel better about myself, by building habits and routines.
Yeah, it's always good. And definitely agree with you on that one because body dysmorphia is real. There's one day I'll walk in the mirror and be like, oh, yeah, I done lost some more weight. We getting back on it. We feeling great. The next morning, I'll wake up and just like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. I give up. I done gained like 20 pounds just looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, there's no way, Matt.
Mirrors
You
be
ate
changing,
good.
I swear.
Bruh, see somebody. Finally,
Okay,
somebody.
see, look, my mirror it's next to my window, and I have big windows. So, like, the heat, if it's hot or if it's cold, it changes the image a little bit. Like, it distorts it a little bit. So, if it's hot, it makes you look bigger. So, it's like, you got to move. You got to check the mirror a little sometimes.
Got to be checking temps and everything else. Has this window been open the whole day? Has there been enough sunlight from this side? Oh my, that's wild. I never thought about that.
Bro, yeah, it was some mind fuck.
Oh yeah, that really gets you. Oh my, that's wild. Yeah, man. Oh, I never. That's one of them things. I'm just like, I can definitely get it, and it relates to a lot of people. I know a lot of people out there that deals with this a lot too, and then the body dysmorphia be real, and it's like, yes, there's somebody that actually competes and goes through all these different cycles of life and still has to deal with it. And it's like, it's not just you. It's not everybody deals with it to a certain extent, especially after a while of working out. Every single one of us deal with it, I would say.
I would say you feel it the least whenever you're doing the least. Like whenever I wasn't working out, I thought I looked great. Or at least whenever I was playing football and doing what I was doing, like I was still working out, but I wasn't as conscious about my look. I was more conscious about performance. So whenever I saw a little bit of definition, I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, we right.
Yeah, but now whenever I see a little bit of definition, I'm like, more. So
it's not enough now. It's time to go even harder. I was like, yeah, I felt that because I saw one vein. I was just like, what is that? Is a vein? Oh, yeah, it's time to go even harder now.
You
like,
get addicted when you start seeing veins pop up.
They got way many pictures. Just, there go a vein, there go a new vein. But I'm going to get into my final question and everything else I like to ask people. I know I didn't ask you this beforehand and everything else, so you're getting put on the spot just like everybody else has. What has been, you thought at the time, was your biggest setback but ended up being your biggest blessing? And I'll let you sit and ponder on that. I've had many of them, from tearing my meniscus and being out for 3 months whenever I finally got under 300 pounds for the first time, since forever. It was that point was my senior year of high school to maybe 8th grade was the last time I saw under 300. And then I tore my meniscus and was out for 3 months, couldn't do cardio, couldn't do legs. And it really, I thought was the end of it, but I ended up locking in and learning so much more about weights and different styles of training then. So something like that, what you thought was all this in the world, this is where it comes crashing down on you.
My biggest setback that turned out to be a biggest comeback is probably not winning my shows. Because I walk in wanting to win with the hopes of winning, etc., and I don't get that. All it does is just put more fuel on my fire, and it just makes me that much hungrier, and I'm happy for it. I'm still bitter, but it'll go away when I win. So
it'll be all worth it in the end. That's what I always say. It's just, it's literally just a setup, not a setback type thing. So who knows what's to come? We'll be out here making more stuff. Javon, where can they find you at and everything else?
They can find me at jedwards.fit_ on Instagram or InGameVon on TikTok. And soon I will be making a YouTube to document my road to the show.
I can't wait. I've been enjoying the little docs you already been putting out so far and little movies, and I can't wait to see. I'm proud of the person you've become and what you're doing with it. So I'm always going to be here to back you and keep you going, dog. Whatever you need, that's all I always say. Whatever you need, I'm here to try to help the best way I can. But with that being said, y'all like the video, leave a comment who y'all want to see next. We out of here. God bless.
Peace.
But most of the time, people don't really realize that. A lot of people are going to sleep. There's a lot to sleep on, right? Maybe. It's about time we start giving people wake-up calls. So guess what? This one will be the first wake-up call. It'll be the first wake-up call. Very much if you've been sleeping now, make sure that you're awake. You know what I'm saying? He'll make sure you're awake. He'll make sure you're awake. You'll make sure you're awake. You'll make sure they're awake. You'll make sure they're awake. You'll make sure they're awake.